Recognize Representative Hamadeh for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, we are here today because the VA has failed, plain and simple. The title of this hearing is, quote, Detrimental Delays. But let's call it for what it really is, a breach of contract with the men and women who served this country and the families who supported them. Now, I sit here as a veteran who knows firsthand how important these benefits are. Now, the GI Bill isn't a handout, it's earned. And for the survivors and dependents relying on Chapter 35, the families of our fallen and disabled, these delays aren't just an inconvenience, they are a crisis. And we're talking about students unable to register for classes, families missing rent payments, and veterans being left in the dark. And why? Because the Department of Veteran Affairs decided to process claims using old, dusty spreadsheets and fax machines. Now, we have spent nearly $1 billion on a contract with Accenture for the digital GI Bill. And we spent another $25 million to keep a 1970s legacy system on life support. And yet somehow the solution was to have case managers key files into ancient spreadsheets, one claim at a time. Now, that's just not incompetent and wasteful. It is an insult to every veteran in my district. Now, we hear a lot of excuses about complex processing and lapses in appropriations, but the reality is the VA kept a failed policy in place. Now, my first question is for you, Mr. Park. Now, the goal of this subcommittee is to ensure VA programs like the digital GI Bill tangibly improve the lives of veterans and their families. How much has Accenture been paid to date, and what have veterans and beneficiaries received for this?
Thank you for the question. We have been paid to date $686 million. And for that, we now have the majority of all veterans able to access their benefits to get this certificate of eligibility in seconds as opposed to weeks and in some cases months. That's a major change to the ability to get your benefits. That has driven an increase in utilization, as you heard in my oral testimony. This result is that we now have 16 million claims that have been processed and 43 billion in benefits that have been sent out, and that is for 2.3 million unique beneficiaries. You can, I'm sure, appreciate what that does for veterans and their families. And we did all this while addressing decades of legacy debt, not the least of which was this BDN mainframe, which, if it had failed, as you heard from the VA, due to various issues such as the fact it's past end of life, the fact that it could not be reasonably updated to comply with legislative and judicial mandates, and the fact that it could not be staffed any longer given how old the technology was, it would have created impact to veterans and disconnected them from their benefits. So we did all of those things while processing all of these claims that you've heard. There's plenty more that has been done for that amount, $686 million.
So how long was the system not being used for?
How long was the DGIB system?
Yes.
Throughout the entire execution of this contract, the DGIB system has been up and running. It's up 99.99% of the time, so there has been no interruption of service for the system itself.
But when did Accenture get paid?
We get paid on a monthly basis based on delivery on specific milestones, and that occurs monthly.
But you were getting paid when we weren't even using the system?
The system has been used every single day since we started in 2021.
And yet there is this backlog of over 100,000.
That is correct. As you heard, that is driven by two main factors. The increase in the Chapter 35 year-on-year of 19%, and also the decision to have VCEs manually process claims. When they process things manually, it is important to understand they're doing it inside the DGIB system. What changed on September 23rd is that we then had approved requirements to automate a portion of that processing so that the VCs would not need to do any manual processing.
Right. But it took a long time for it to actually get implemented, right? From 2024 all the way to August of 2025.
Yeah, I guess to help shed light, the DGIB itself had the capability of processing Chapter 35 in December of 2024. as a risk mitigation approach. That production capability was used for all new beneficiaries, but not, as you heard from other folks, the beneficiaries that were already in the mainframe. What occurred in July and then August was the migration of those older claim sets of data into DGIB, and then this reconciliation or validation of data.
I'm out of time. I yield back.